What's up, guys and gals? It's time for the latest piece of One Piece. Chapter 1128, review entitled RPG. So, right out of the gate there. Well, first we'll talk about the color spread. The color spread is quite nice, quite beautiful, and totally not Harry Potter. I'm assuming Oda just recently started watching the Harry Potter movies. Maybe he's a fan, or maybe he's reading the books or something like that. But yeah, this is quote-unquote not Harry Potter. It's Harry Potter. It's absolutely Harry Potter. But yeah, it's actually kind of funny because we only have one Slytherin. If we're going by the ties and stuff like that, we only have one Slytherin. By the looks of this, and that's Zoro, which I find quite odd. I would consider, like, once again, you want to represent everybody, but I would have considered Zoro and Luffy to both be Gryffindor, right? I would, because if anything, Zoro represents Gryffindor the most out of all the Straw Hats. Jinbei as well, the honorable one and stuff like that. And then we get like just some of the distinctions here. If we were going by the ties, some of them are not exactly who I would have picked for certain Straw Hats. If I was like, all right, which house does each one of them belong into? Not that Slytherin's necessarily a bad thing or anything, but I would have argued Nami as a Slytherin. I would 100% put Nami as a Slytherin. So, like just certain changes like that. But anyways, yeah, so it's a beautiful color spread nonetheless with the brooms and they're all wearing the school uniform and stuff like that. It's nice, and there's a random dragon in the background. Okay. Oda just likes drawing dragons. There's no dragons in the story except for Kaido. But, well, and Momonosuke, I suppose. Yeah. So, but he hasn't had his fill of drawing dragons yet, so he has to draw another dragon. But yeah, so one thing about this chapter, and the title right out of the gate, RPG. So this whole chapter reminded me very heavily of a couple of things. There was an episode like this. This has been done, not to death, but this has been done many times before. Like, I'm going to miniaturize you and put you into my world, my box world. It was done in an Inuyasha episode in the, I want to say, in the 30s or the 40s. It was done with a sage, crazy man. It was done, anyways. It was done in an Inuyasha episode. It was done in a Dragon Ball GT episode, I believe, or it was Dragon Ball. No, I think it was Dragon Ball GT. This was done. The whole miniaturization. It was done in the original Pokemon with the Sabrina thing, though they didn't really move around as much. SpongeBob SquarePants the movie, right? Like they go to Shell City at the end of the movie, and obviously, they weren't miniaturized, but they all look so small by comparison of, full-grown humans and stuff. So it's the same giant version, you know what I mean? And also, just going off of what we see in this chapter, the Sun God, quote-unquote, is playing an RPG. That's an interesting topic, because a lot of people are saying, okay, this is Legoland, this is, he's obviously, he is the Sun God, but this is Legoland sort of idea and stuff like that, or it's more Minecraft and stuff. But the title RPG, assuming that it doesn't mean but it means the role playing game. It's the abbreviation for role playing game. Now I'm looking at this more. He's building. You could argue a little Minecraft, but he's building more of World of Warcraft. He's building more Skyrim. He's playing a role playing game. He's created this world that he designed, sure, with Mega Bloks, Lego, whatever. He's designed this, but he's now created with all these live pieces. He's created his own fantasy. He's a player playing the game, you know what I mean? So, in that aspect, in the sort of, it's a sandbox, Grand Theft Auto, Rockstar's favorite, Red Dead Redemption, that kind of idea, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, all that stuff. He has created this combination world sort of idea, right? It's not as simple as just saying, oh, it's Legoland. It's like, there's more to it than that, and I do appreciate that. I also appreciate the fact, though some people don't like this as much, Sanji is very heavily, everyone's going back to their traits. Now, there was a lot of theories. Luffy's not Luffy. Nami's not Nami. These Straw Hats aren't the actual Straw Hats, etc., etc. I'm not prescribing to that. I also am prescribing to the idea that because of, from what we know, Dory and Bragi and blah, 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 they're still on their ship, and these are the original Straw Hats here, or the, the first ones to be Straw Hats are all here and stuff. This could just simply be, like, if Elbaf is an island, right? And we can pretty much say that. Elbaf is an island. It exists in the New World. There could be little pocket islands surrounding it, right? That are still considered the country of Elbaf, but it doesn't mean that all of Elbaf is just one big island. There could be a couple, sort of like Totlander, that kind of idea, right? There could be a couple of just smaller islands. Maybe the Straw Hats are on one of those more remote islands, still in the borders of Elbaf, but not on Elbaf proper. That's a possibility, if you want to say that they're still not on Elbaf, technically, that kind of idea. So that one's not too bad. I do prescribe to that possibility. And I read an insanely good theory about how Luffy isn't Luffy, and Zoro knows it, and Zoro's the first one to catch it, and it would show in line and stuff, and there was a big theory about it. And though it seemingly is disproven at the very least that Zoro knew this at the time in this chapter, I love that theory too. So, that being said, though, at this point, I would like to say that they are in Elbaf, the region at the very least, if not on the island proper, and these are all the Straw Hats. Okay? I think Oda is trying to go back to basics a little bit here. Not in a bad way either, and we'll talk about this because I actually really like this chapter. Is the fact that we're going on the crazy adventure with the original Straw Hats. Sort of like what Akira Toriyama tried to do with Namek, and then the creators of GT tried to do with GT. We're going back to basics. We're going on a fun adventure with a couple of characters, our main characters, and they're just having an adventure. It's fun. There's a war, there's famine and death and the four horsemen and the apocalypse is happening and burning, acid rain and all this stuff, right? Because for the last few arcs, it's always been do or die. The world is ending, right? Whole Cake was like that. And so was Wano. And Egghead basically became that very, very quickly. There has been no time, the Straw Hats for a long time now have not just had a let's go to the next island and hilarity ensues. That hasn't happened in a long time. Not that there's not going to be stakes in Elbaf, but finally, on Elbaf, there's conflict. There's going to be an antagonist. There's going to be this stuff, but it's not main antagonist. It's not we're fighting the world government. We're into the political side with the revolutionaries, the world government. It's not Eam. It's not the Goro side. There's not a Yonko to defeat here. There's not a rescue operation for somebody to save. This is the first time in a long time, I feel. Egghead tried to do it, and I don't think succeeded. But this chapter shows us the original Straw Hats we're out for adventure. We're on a new island, in a new world, in a new land. Let's see what's going on, It almost feels like the end of, like, Toriko and stuff. Like, well, we ate everything on Earth. There's got to be something more out there. Let's go to space and find something else to eat. A brand new adventure is on the horizon. You know what I mean? That sort of feeling. And once again, One Piece, all its openings and its theme is let's just have a fun time. This is Luffy's entire dream. It's the journey. We know this about Luffy. So I just like this because it's all of them back to basics. This is a fun chapter with all the characters' main personality traits from the original 100 or so chapters dialed up to 11. For good and bad reasons. You can make the argument. Nami, for example, is woe is me, damsel in distress, I cry, I can't do anything, I'm just a girl, while also in this chapter saving Chopper and going back to something we haven't heard her do in a very long time, which is the whole, Like, oh, there, Chopper. By the way, this is going to cost you extra. I need berries for this. You know what I mean? It's like, wait, what? With Chopper? What are you doing? Usopp. Once again, and Usopp's called out for this by Luffy, either Zoro or Luffy. Like, Usopp, why were you being like, why? I can't do anything. I'm part of the weak trio. This cat is eating me. Oh, God, I can't fight back. I got to run away. Back to original Usopp. Luffy even brings this up. I think it's Luffy or Zoro brings this up and says, why couldn't you have defeated the cat? Like you clearly could beat the cat at this stage in the new world. You know, we're a Yonko crew here. And he's like, yeah, well, I woke up and it was distracted, man, and this thing was eating me, and, But it's like, okay, so we have the scaredy cat Usopp, back OG Usopp. We have Nami being the whole, oh no, I can't fight, and running away. By the way, and also saying everything costs money. I need money, 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 money. I'm all about the greed. Then we have Luffy, and just acting completely like Luffy, just being like, ha, adventure, I'm going this way, shenanigans, slam into a mirror and break it. Oh, God, Chopper being a crybaby. Sanji, once, twice, I think I counted 3 times, perverted Sanji 101, like, this can't be a dream. It's too much of a sausage fest. It's like, okay, that's how we're starting the chapter. And then also on top of that, it's like, wait a minute. A 2-way mirror. A mirror that, like, we can see from one side but not the other. Let me tell you something, Nami. I have some great plans. I will clean up the ladies' bathroom on the Sunny. Don't you worry about it, right? And then Nami get mad at Sanji for it, right? So everyone is sort of dialed up to 11. Not so much Zoro, but Zoro's personality is just following Luffy. It's like, oh, people to cut up. Guardians. People who are dangerous. Oh, that sounds like a challenge. That sounds like fun. Let's pull out the swords. It's like, no, Zoro. Bad Zoro, So I think that this is Oda doing this once again. Obviously, he's writing it, so it's intentional. But I think we've been on the... Once again, we're on the edge of a cliff. Everything is do or die. There is people involved. We have to save Wano and save the whole country and the samurai and the people. We promised Momonosuke ever since Zou and stuff like that. We have to defeat Kaido. We have to save the land. Whole Cake. We have to get Sanji back. And we have to make sure that everything's okay there. And we have to say, it's a rescue arc. Egghead, we need to... The government is here. It's all about the political, and the admirals are here. It's a buster call, and Vegapunk's dying, and all this craziness, right? Like, so each and every time we got to save Jewelry Bonnie. Everything has been do or die. The stakes have never been higher, And finally, we got away. We're headed to a new island. And we're just in it for the adventure. We're back to the adventure genre of One Piece. And Oda decided, hey, let's just shenanigans ensue with the OG Straw Hats back to their very basic personality traits, showcasing hardcore in this chapter and the chapter before. And let's do this. Let's just have a little bit of fun for a few chapters. Let's start off this arc right. This is an adventure. We're into the adventure side of One Piece again. And I love this chapter for it, and I love the chapter previous. And I hope that we're here, for the next month or so. At least. I hope we're just doing this and shenanigans ensue. They encounter people that are like, whoa, this dude is riding an armored grasshopper. That's so cool, and stuff. It's like, oh, there's guardians to cut up and stuff. And it's like, oh, no, Zoro, don't do that. And now he's like, oh, my God, things are happening. And, and now, right now, at the end of the chapter, of course, they figured this all out. They get together. They're like, where are we? We don't know, blah, blah, blah. They figure out they're in a dollhouse. They're in a created thing. As I said, Inuyasha's done it. Dragon Ball did it. Pokemon did it. A lot of places done it. But it's still fun. It's still going to be unique. It already is unique. And now this sun god, this obvious giant person, has come out and he's like, fee, fi, fo, fum. It's like, you have bothered. You are ruining my beloved country. My RPG, my world. You destroyed the barrier. You destroyed the walls. Like, this is my sandbox. And you just broke my game console. What are you doing? You know what I mean? So I want to play. And he's got a really cool design with the cow skull and all this stuff. He's got a staff, and he looks pretty cool. And I don't understand why the Western motif with that, where he's a giant, but okay, what have you. And now hilarity is about to ensue. So I think chapter 1128 is a banger, and I think it's intentional that everyone's back to basics, at least. Or we're showcasing just some surface level. Sanji's a pervert. Zoro cuts shit up. Luffy's crazy. Usopp's a coward, and Nami is a damsel in distress. We're doing, and Chopper's just a little kid. We're just doing that for this next chapter or two. Not because these aren't the real Straw Hats, but because Oda's just like, we were just on like heart pumping, heart attack level, like adrenaline level arc after arc after arc. Let's have the comedy. Let's have the adventure. That's what One Piece is all about, and for the majority of the story is all about. So let's have some fun. I think this arc is going to be one of the best arcs in One Piece, at least since the time skipped, since we've been in the New World. I think this is going to be one of the best. I really do. But what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. We'll see you guys back here. Apparently no break. So 1129 next week. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to more of this. It's just fun. We're back to bare bones adventure comedy with the One Piece crew. They're powered up. They're souped up right now, of course. But we have a scenario. It's going to be fun. Let's just enjoy the ride. You know, until things get back to serious and bounties and death and destruction, let's have some fun, right? So that's it for me, guys. Have a good one. Sayonara.